Hello and welcome to show 109. Today the guest is Gene Palma. Now, Gene Palma, you may not know who Gene Palma is. Actually, you shouldn't know who Gene Palma is. Gene Palma is a friend of mine, a really good friend of mine. I've known him for you know what? I'm just going to bring him out. How long, Gene, do we know each other? How many years do we know each other?
Hey, everybody. We met, the first time we ever met in person was at Osborne Lights. So I think 2015, 2016 Christmas season.
That could be. Hey, Katie. And Gene, I'm going to tell you this right off the bat. This is a disclaimer. Gene does work for the Walt Disney Company in guest relations. These opinions, not in guest. Where do you work? I don't even know.
I work at the Disney Reservation Center.
Okay. So he's answering a lot of Karen's questions. But the opinions expressed here tonight, while accurate, because we know Gene is not going to lie to us, do not represent the Walt Disney Company in any way, shape, or form. They are his own opinions. Am I correct about that, Gene?
Yes.
Legality out of the way. Hello, Jesse Pizzula. Do you know Jesse? Gene, I think
I
you
don't
do.
know.
Oh, Jessie Pizzula is another friend of mine. She's going through some rough health things now, but she's something about her neck. She's got a nerve in her neck that gets crimped and it makes her hit people and stuff. I'm kidding. She does do crazy things though. Hi, Kim. Kimberly. Kimberly Picciano, David Picciano. Okay, so let's see. What are we going to start talking about? Let's jump to. Can you describe a little bit about what your day is like at Disney?
So I work in I wouldn't say technical side. I've worked for the company almost 6 years, and I started off in a department called itinerary planning, where I actually help people plan their vacations. So I booked like recreation and dining and that kind of stuff for people over the phone. A few years ago, I moved to Internet Help Desk. So My Disney Experience. My Disney Experience is a big part of planning your vacation. And recently I moved to a more niche department of Internet Help Desk and pass holder help desk.
Wow, so that sounds like a lot.
I moved to and help our annual pass holders. So if anybody has issues with their annual pass, they give us a call and we talk to them about it.
Oh, wonderful. Do you ever solve any problems or you just talk to them about it?
When they have problems, we do.
Speaking of Genie, is that going to change?
So.
Is Genie going to change your job a lot with the?
We don't know.
You don't know.
We don't know yet. We haven't seen. We basically know as much as you guys know.
Because you said itinerary planning, and that just makes me think: are things going to be taken away from you? And
so a lot of it's moved from cast members. So you can book. I think before everything happened last year, you could book Bippity Boppity Boutique. You could book a lot of things through the website that you couldn't do before. So you can book Savi's workshop and the droid building at Droid Depot. You can book Capture Your Moment. And they pushed for a lot, but that wasn't my role.
Megan,
hey Matt, I talked to her the other day because I saw her name in a shared workspace, and I was like, that name sounds very familiar. Does your husband work in the parks?
I'm not going to say anything, but I'm very excited for what Megan will be doing in the future. I'm going to try to bother her at some point. So I'm sorry. Go ahead. Continue.
So So my department, we're a smaller subsection of the Internet Help Desk that general folks call, but annual pass holders call us. So they really, Disney appreciates our pass holders so much. They created this department a few years ago, and I got asked to join it not long ago. I've been doing it probably for about 6 to 7 months. But usually the wait times for pass holders, when there's not something like Remy's preview that goes out for pass holders that doesn't get everybody excited, that we usually don't have that that much of a weight. It's not as much of a weight as it is for everyone else. So.
I latched onto something you said where you said Disney cares about their pass holders so much. It seems like they're losing a little bit of the PR online where people are like, they don't care about me. They don't care about their pass holders. And I'm constantly talking to people like you and people in other positions where they're like, wow, if they only knew what was going on behind the scenes and how much they do care. Is there anything you are allowed to say to that, or at least
there's a lot of people. So we aren't selling annual passes right now. We don't know when we'll sell them again. When
they did say before the 50th. I don't know if that's accurate.
So that was something that they didn't. So when they started talking about the magic keys out in Disneyland, they didn't want to leave anybody. They didn't want to leave Walt Disney World out of the news. So they added the fact that they're going to start selling them again. They didn't really tell us exactly when, but they said before the 50th, which is between now and the 50th. So,
and the 50th is lasting 18 months. So
no, it's the start of the 50th. So they're saying
okay.
October 1st, basically, is when they're going to, before they start selling it. So we're supposed to know more information later this month. And they said that too in the public, in the release. So they've got about a week before they tell us what's going to happen. So we're excited about that because it's a question that we get a lot. And, a majority of the people who can't be a pass holder right now understand the value of being a pass holder. So, it goes both ways to that. But
a quick story that I know you know this, but I don't know if you even remember. I'm talking to Gene at the time where they said, if you have a pass, make sure you renew it. Excuse me, because they're not renewing it. They're not selling new ones. And I'm like, yeah, I'm so glad I got mine. And then I go on Fox 35 and I'm telling people to make sure they renew their pass. And Gene texts me and is like, John, your pass expired like 3 months ago, right? And I'm like, what? I totally had forgotten. And I had to run to Disney Springs and do like a mea culpa, which they said, hey, Matt, which they said was fine. And they did extend it because it wasn't that long. Had it been like 6 to 8 months, they would have been worried, but 3 months they did it. But do you remember that? I panicked. I thought I knew exactly what I was doing, and I did not.
Yeah. It's interesting. It's, you get people to ask us, and we get asked a lot about it. That, can I buy a pass? I just moved here. Can I buy a pass? We have to tell them no a lot, and it's unfortunate. And then there's people who realize that it's not buying an annual pass versus buying park tickets every time you want to visit the park is a much better deal overall. Even if you didn't get any of the other things that Disney does for pass holders when they can, it's still a fantastic deal. So it's just funny because people are like, when I kind of buy, this is expensive. And I'm like, yes.
I honestly don't know what I would do if I had to pay like per day when I wanted to go.
We do the offers for the summer fun Florida resident ticket and you never know, Mary. I tell people I'm like, the only thing I can say is that it's supposed to be before the 50th. I said the 50th is on the 1st.
The 50th is on. So they have 30. They have 40 days.
Yeah, it's like 44 days, something like that.
It actually might be less now. It might be like 36 days now.
There's if you go into My Disney Experience app, there's a countdown. Hold on a second. Oh, and anybody that works at the reservation center, I'm sorry, it's well, can you see it?
I can't see it because of my ring light. Now tell me.
It's 37 days.
That's not so bad. Within 37 days.
That's very close. But
I don't think they can get much feedback on Genie Plus since it's technically not out yet. But I'm sure we've
gotten lots of feedback. But the only thing I'll say about it is that we don't. So most anybody that you talk to has never seen it, so we don't know what it looks like. But I think it'll be pretty, and I think it will be as functional as they want it to be. As in the beginning, obviously there'll always be what happened on technology itself, but
If I said to you Fast Pass was broken, are you allowed to nod in agreement with that or say anything to that? I mean, it's
will
not
say
here
that
anymore.
I will say that what I will say, and my friend Steve, he misses Fast Pass, but Steve Noonan that shouted my name in the beginning, he's the one that's been wanting to meet you in person for a long time. But
Hey,
so I think our capacities have been reduced for a while, but I think what you see that's happening in the parks kind of indicative of what the system was and what it turned out to be. So I'm excited about the free portion about a Genie. I think that's a real neat thing. I mean, if you can tell it the things that you really want to do and have it tell you what to do next, because this is the shortest wait of the day, or that, and I'm just going by the video that they play for everyone else.
I love the way it can update if I change something. Switch this out, put this in, and then just update
exactly,
in real time.
Sausage lasagna improves memory. So it looks to be cool. I think that they're going to add a bunch of other things to it that are going to be interesting to see how that works. It's
just so you guys know, when Gene talks, usually he's not having so many ums. He's doing this because he's got to be careful with what he says. He doesn't want anybody to come back to him and say, "Hey, you said this, you said this." So he's trying to give it to us the right way without, let's see. I can ask you about things that I know that you do. Okay. Disney itself, when you plan a trip to Disney, I think that you might lose this from day to day at your job. Do you realize, like, you want to go to Aruba, you have a beach, you have a couple of restaurants, and that's your hotel. Yeah. With Disney, do you realize the amount of information that a person needs to make a real Disney trip? And they're not like us. They're not fans that go all the time. It's overwhelming.
It is. It can be. Whenever I talk to somebody on the phone, so whenever I get anybody on the phone, I take as much time as I can or as they need with me. I don't rush them off the phone. I'm not under any scrutiny for, hey, you got to get them off the phone to get to the next guest.
Oh, that's great. I thought they had you on a timer.
No, I mean, there's always going to be those things because they don't want you to be on hours phone calls, but that's my sister.
That is. Hello, Kawakawa.
Yeah. But I always, because I know people wait a long time to talk to me, so I will take as much time as I need to answer and help them out as much as I can. So, and that's how all cast members are when you speak to them over the phone.
Do you ascertain like what their level is of Disney right away? Like you can be like, okay, this person knows what they're talking about, or this person is asking about Harry Potter at Hollywood Studios.
Sorry. It's a lot of people. We get that over the phone, and then we try to explain to them the level of. There are lots of people who know a lot of stuff about Disney and vacationing at Disney. I think they're trying to get it to the point that it's a little bit more knowledgeable. Or a little bit easier, if you can break open the app. Lots of people like to use the app. So if people open the app up and it says you should go do this, and it gives you suggestions to it, I think that's kind of a fun feature of Genie.
Oh my God, you've had Linda at some point. She says you actually recognized her, or she recognized you over the phone.
Yeah, no, I recognized her. It's funny.
Oh, I'm sorry if you have to deal with that one. That's a HML, high maintenance Linda.
It's funny. It's so funny. Every once in a while, and it doesn't happen very often because you talk to so many people, but yeah, getting people on the phone is kind of fun.
What is there anything funny that you got where somebody said something and you really laughed out loud thinking, wow, that I didn't know anybody thought that? Anything that you could remember like that's really funny? Like that you actually had to move the phone away and laugh for a second before you.
So we answer emails sometimes, and I've had some emails that come through and that are pretty funny.
Is there any example you can give or no?
Probably not.
Okay, because I don't want it to go back to you. I know that it must frustrate you when either a person online or a vlogger or a blogger gives out wrong information that the people then believe as gospel.
So, so people like to joke, and people who have a lot of eyeballs on them say stuff, and then it's just a knee-jerk reaction to run and call. And so like Disney's giving free admission on February 29th, February 30th, and 31st, and those days didn't exist.
And people have called about that?
And then people, and I won't say that, but yes, people will call and they think, oh, it's true because they saw it on the internet. So and then articles get written.
But do you nicely say that's a joke, those dates don't exist?
We have to tell them that. It's unfortunate, but
do they get it a lot of times or no?
I mean, I would imagine they get it. They have to. I mean, you kind of, but it they don't realize it that, when stuff goes viral, that it causes people to call us. It's, with past annual passes and everybody just assuming things, we get phone calls, like we answer calls all day long and telling people no.
Steven is saying, is this the same as tomorrow?
So
I know you understand that, but not me.
Yeah. So long time ago, I Periscope was a thing. I was walking through Epcot and I had Periscope pulled up and I had just started it. And right as it started going, this lady come up and I was right by Spaceship Earth and she started pointing at the building and asked me, is this the same as tomorrow? And it's live. It's happening live. And I'm like, what do you mean? What do you mean? Is this the same as tomorrow? And that's what I figured, that it was she was asking, it was the same, like maybe Space Mountain or Tomorrowland, but it was the most bizarre experience ever. Is it thundering out there?
Yeah. If I go away for some reason, just say goodbye to the people and thank them because the lightning is bad. So what do you remember? Did you find out what she actually was asking or not really?
She was pointing to the back of Spaceship Earth, asking if it was the same as tomorrow. She used that sentence itself, and it was just, there was a bit of a language barrier, I think. And I was just, I was like, no, and a cast member walked by, and I'm a cast member at the moment. And a cast member walked by, so she kind of turned her direction towards the other person, and I go, and I'm live still, and and I go, she's asking if this is the same as Tomorrowland in Magic Kingdom, and then just walked away because
a lot of people think the Hall of Presidents is the American Adventure and that it's the exact same show. And I'm like, these are friends of mine that have been to Epcot a lot and they've never seen the American Adventure. And I'm just my mouth just falls to the floor.
Yeah.
So, Steve, Carousel of Progress. What does Gene think about MDE in its current state? From David Picciano of Now That's Disney.
So my Disney experience, I don't think it's used nearly as much as it used to be. But it works. It works for us. It works for me. I don't have issues. But I know the ins and outs, signing out of the app and then sign back in. So a lot of people don't understand the app is not your account. Your account is the website. So if something is not working right, it hasn't been updated from the website. So if you sign out of the app and then sign back in, it will update information. So a lot of things that weren't working correctly will work than they used to.
Something I found interesting, I don't even know if you would know this, but one of my IT friends, I was saying to him, when Genie Plus comes out in Genie, and we rely on this, it can't go down the way I see sometimes the site go down. He says, what do you mean the site goes down? I said, well, I go to make a reservation and it'll say, right now we can't make a reservation. And he explained to me that that's not the site going down. The reservation is totally separate from the site itself, so that the Genie and Genie Plus will be more like the site, not the reservation thing that you go to, so that it will be stable for the most part and have very few downtime. I assumed, when one part goes down, that's the whole app going down. No, it's connecting you to a different part that does go down frequently. So that was interesting to me too.
And it depends. It's just traffic with it. And, first thing in the morning when people start, hundreds or thousands of people start booking dining at the same time, it's just, there's not enough bandwidth. That's why I tell people when you're signing up for Rise of the Resistance, Matt knows probably that you don't want to be on the free Wi-Fi, because the more people are on free Wi-Fi, the less traffic can get through to where it needs to go. So I always tell people to use their mobile data because the cell towers can handle the amount of people, trying to pull data from the internet.
That was the best tip I got when I made my rise, where the lady next to me was on Wi-Fi. She did not get a group. At the same time we pressed the button, I was on cell and I got the group, and she did not.
Yeah.
So yeah, Matt said testify.
So
David's
David,
asking,
DVC, and I understand your question. I get this question a lot, and we'll get people who are annual pass holders and they can't book all their park reservations because they didn't link their resort reservation to My Disney Experience. Unfortunately, the websites don't talk to each other. So DVC is DVC, and Disney's My Disney Experience is My Disney Experience. So when you book a reservation on the DVC website, you take that 12-digit number, starts with the 5 right now, and you move that over to My Disney Experience. Once you link it, it's in there. You can use the same email and password for all the websites because they're all the same database. So like if you log into My Disney Experience, it's the same email and password that you can log into Disney Plus or a DVC. So you don't have to have two different separate logins. So it's kind of cool.
So Gene got a preview today. And also, if you have questions for Gene, ask now, just in case this storm does brew over here by me. But ask, and I'll try to get the questions to him, and he can answer as he is able to. You saw Ratatouille today. Was it today or yesterday?
It's today. Yeah.
Okay. All in all, enjoyable. You liked it?
I liked it. It was a cute ride. I would say it's on the level of Frozen, the Frozen attraction, the boat ride. I say it was on that level, if not probably better, just because I think it appeals to more people. Frozen, it appeals, but I think there's a certain demographic that it appeals to more. But I enjoyed it a lot. We got to ride it a couple times because they had space. I was amazed.
How many times did you go on?
We rode twice.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
So this is animated. These are your pictures. This guy's animated on the ride. I think this is like
so this is inside, and he's talking to you. This is the fountain. It's a really awesome fountain. Takes up a lot of space. Brings your eyes. That
they have nice things. This is that one area that is kind of physical in the ride. It's not a screen. I like
that's your background. The background around it. Yeah, basically.
Oh, Gene, did I lose you, or are you still there?
I'm here.
Okay, my lights went off and on. As long as you could hear me, that means I still got. I'm going to go a little quicker with you. Did you see the lights flash over here?
Oh yeah. Well, the screen went big. It was just I could hear you.
My lights went off and on. Guys, I'm so sorry. This storm is going to make me go quicker with Gene than I normally would. So I'm going to. Okay, obviously that's the mouse car.
That's the vehicle. Yeah.
Size-wise, fine for everybody.
Yeah, it's so in the seat they have little dividers for your butt. But I think it's meant to keep you from sliding around in the seat. That might have been something they should do in other rides, but I don't think it's too bad. There was plenty of room. That was a really neat area that you walked into. The screen was actually telling you about how you're getting on the ride, and it's Remy and Emil.
Oh, that's pretty cool. Oh yeah, I like hearing Emil's voice, which I haven't heard in a long time.
Yeah.
Where is that thunder by you?
No, that wasn't.
Oh, that's here. My gosh.
Yeah.
Hold on, I'm gonna pull up a quick radar here, just because if this is really bad. Wow, it's horrible what I'm hearing here. So let me just quickly pull up a radar, guys. I'll be right there. I don't want my new computer to go kaput, which could happen here in Florida. It's happened before to me. Okay, yeah, we got something bad on us, but it should pass pretty quick. All right, let's try to continue. Okay, so these are really nice. These courtyard areas.
Yeah, so
did you eat?
We did. So this is the loading area. That was the loading area that we were at. So that's the loading area right there. So they actually load. It looks like they have the ability to load like 6 cars at one time, which is a lot.
When I realize this is in 3D and it's blurry, but it looks crystal clear for what is it as clear? Like, are these like 4K amazing projectors?
It is pretty amazing.
Okay, it did impress you how the clarity was.
We didn't go into when we went back out so we rode the ride and then we came back out, took a picture with the photo pass, and then we went and rode again. We came back out and there was a line, and we were like trying to figure out what the line was for, and the line was actually for the sit down crepe restaurant. And we got in line and we're like, we didn't realize it was for the restaurant. We just figured it was some kind of food. So we stood there for a while, and it was a long while. Thank God it wasn't in the sun. The sun wasn't completely beating down on us. And they came out and said, "Hey, we're about to, we're going to open it for a bit, but it's going to be a while because they're not going to. All of you can't sit in the restaurant. But if you want to get some food, the quick service is going to be open." So we actually ran around to the other, and I think we're about 5 in line when they finally opened it. I think they opened it at about 10, 15 minutes later. So we got to have some crepes. So we had the ham and cheese galette, and then a hazelnut with chocolate gristle crepe. It was awesome. It was so good.
All right, that sounds pretty good. I looked at the prices of the crepes. They don't look out of whack to me. Like, it didn't seem crazy.
My wife commented, she goes, "Oh, look, we picked the most expensive things on the menu."
But even so, there's like a price fix menu. Is that what they say? Prix fix, whatever?
The sit down restaurant.
Did you hear that?
From what I saw, there was a prefix, and I think it was not 100%, but I think it was $33. But it's a 3-course meal. So that looked pretty good. It looked like a majority of what they offered in the restaurant was on the quick service. But I didn't take a picture of they had the menu on the wall next to the table service restaurant.
Okay. I'm just looking at how bad it is outside. Guys, I'm going to have to cut this short because we're going to get hit. Are you bad over there by you?
I can hear distance thunders, but it's not that bad.
Okay, yeah, I'm flickering off and on, and I'm so scared to just leave you and have you be, just all by yourself. I'm so sorry. Let me see did anybody give me questions for Gene? They asked if you saw the crepes. Katarina Pulaski is coming in 67 days. David Picciano said, "Holly crepe." Oh, he means holy crepe. I think.
It was really good, though. They were really good crepes.
All right, give us some parting thoughts. I'm so sorry that I only gave you a half hour, but I'm glad I got to see you. I just don't want the computer to get fried. It's happened where the entire house gets fried. Like a lightning hits it, and whatever's on is
you live
dead.
So far away. That's it. You live out in the middle of nowhere.
And I'm also on a mountain. It's high up, so it's worse for the lightning. And you ready for this? I didn't think about this when I got the house. It's a 2-story house. There's only 2 2-story houses. So if somebody's getting hit by lightning, it's usually me or them. It's horrible. Please have Gene return back. Yeah, Gene, we have to do this again with you. Give me questions, though, guys. We can try to get in 1 or 2 questions here.
I mean, does anybody want any tips for getting on Rise of the Resistance?
Yes, let's do that real quick.
I literally walk people through this every day on the phone. If I see that, yeah, he lives in a fancy area. It's a mountain.
in Claremont, there actually are hills, and this is called Orange Mountain. It was an orange grove on a mountain before it was houses, yes.
So my tip for Rise of the Resistance, and this is where this actually came from. He was asking me questions, and I said, "You should have me on the show, and I'll answer questions about Rise of the Resistance," because
and then everything else blew up.
And then it turned into this. But so when you go onto the app, there's a homepage for it. If you scroll up, and you go to it, there's a join button. If you go into the join button, depending on the type of app it is, whether it's Android or iPhone, you have to continue on, or you'll get to the screen that talks about boarding groups. It actually shows you what boarding groups are there. If you put your finger on the screen and swipe down, it will refresh. So the key is to have good internet access, either mobile data or Wi-Fi if you're at home in a local, and to refresh the screen a few seconds beforehand. I explain that if you have a Apple Watch or a Galaxy Watch that's synced up to your phone in the time to show, hey Stan, to show the second hand. So as long as so a few seconds beforehand, if you refresh the screen, I'd say about 3 to 4 seconds, if you refresh the screen, that will ping the server, and on that screen a join button will show up, and then if you tap it very quickly, it's going to flip the screen, it's going to spin, and when it pops up again, it's going to show your family and friends list. Now this is important to understand. You do not have to select anybody. As long as they have a park reservation for the day, it will select everyone that you're connected to. Even if you're not going to the park with them, it will pick them. And the important thing to remember is that it really only needs to be one person doing this, because if more than one person does it, you guys butt heads in the system and it will error out. So I always direct people, hey, just whoever's got the fastest phone, the newest phone, or whoever's quick about it, to just be the one to do it. And you don't have to have 10 people trying to do it at the same time. And then, so when the join button pops up, it flips over to the family and friends list. And then when the family and friends list comes up, it will have everybody check marked. So when that pops up, you just need to have your finger towards the bottom of the screen, and the confirm or the join button will go live. As soon as it goes live, you tap it and you're in a boarding group. The first time they changed it to the new system, I missed it because I hesitated. And that was in, I forget when, November of last year, I think. And then when we got the first opportunity as cast members to do it again, I got boarding group number 1. And then the next day I got boarding group number 7. And I really haven't been anything higher than like 35. So just doing this, you hit join 3 times. So you hit join, so I wake up at 6:55. That's what I do. I set my alarm and wake up at 6:55. And then I just have my watch there and I have my phone and I make sure I can see the second hand. Using the free Wi-Fi. Well, that's awesome. I'm sure, Dave. I'm sure, Matt. I always tell people whenever I speak to them, because I know. So we get one thing that people will call up and say, "I don't want all these people on my friends list." And I said, "You're going to Hollywood. You're going to Disney's Hollywood Studios, and you think this is going to mess up your chances of Rise of the Resistance?" And they say yes. And I said, "Okay, I'm going to tell you this is how you do it. You don't need to worry about all these people because it doesn't select them if they're not going to the park."
All right, Gene,
if you guys time it at the same time, it will actually cause an error and it will cause you to error out because you're both trying to get a boarding group at the same time. So the reason it would work before, Stan, is that you used to have to go through and tap everybody's name to get them in the group. Well, some people are faster at tapping names than others. So that worked before. It doesn't work that way anymore because the system selects everybody going in the park that day. So you could cause an error. It's like it's just a system button head when there's 2 people and you guys, if let's say you meet in the middle and it doesn't let either one of them go forward.
I'm doing a quick advertising before I go because it's actually getting worse outside, which I'm shocked. This shirt, I can only make about 4 more of them, is on bigfatpanda.com. This is not mass produced. I only got so much of that really shiny, sparkly vinyl that you can't see here. This one I can make plenty of. So these are on bigfatpanda.com. Thank you so much, Gene. I will have you back just as a friend to talk about everything. You are very knowledgeable, obviously because of your position too, so that helps. But
I was a fan before I moved to Florida.
Oh, stop. I will always try to give good information. I know I only piss you off once in a while, which is kind of good.
Nah.
Only once in a while.
I mean, most people don't. It's just I just don't like it when people do the
complain
jokes.
For the the jokes. I don't understand how people take them serious, but yeah, I don't do those mostly. If people really thought that there was, February 29th, it's just I can't.
I know it's unfortunate.
It is, and I can't believe your day is spent fielding those phone calls.
It's not as nearly as much, but mostly we get, can I buy an annual pass, or I came into this department after the roller coaster that they had from when the parks closed, and then the whole year, and the time the parks. So it wasn't, but the bigger overall department handled, because everybody I was calling the reservation center was annual pass holders, because no one was going to the park, so there was always the questions. So it's been fun. I've enjoyed the job. I
If
like helping
people want to follow you, is there a preferred way? Are you on Twitter? Are you on Instagram or Facebook? Where is a preferred way?
I only go on Twitter, and I don't do Instagram. And then
What is your Twitter
Facebook
handle?
I don't even know I don't even remember. Hold on one second.
Okay, but on I can't even talk on Fast Pass. On Facebook, you're Gene Palma.
I'm just Gene Palma.
GenePalma.
Yeah.
Together we make Palma Jean. Chicken
on
Parmesan.
Twitter, I'm Big Cuban, BIGGCUBAN, Big Cuban.
People think I'm Cuban. I'm the Big Cuban. Everybody, good night. Thank you. I'm sorry we cut this short. If you see what's going on outside my window, you'll know I'm going to go off automatically and leave Gene in a bad position to be like. Thank you, guys. Gene, thank you. Love you, buddy. I'll see you during the week. Bye-bye.